Okay, uh, today we are going to discuss about a static thing. Okay, what is static variables? So as all of you knew that in under main we are using as static here, static void main. Okay, so what is this static means? Anyone do know what is static means? Any idea, guys? What actually static refers to? Okay, there are two kind of things, it's static and dynamic, right? So what happens when we create any values with the help of static? So I will show you with an example. So here uh, there are two classes in the same Java program. Okay, the first class is text class. Okay, under this class we have a integer value, and this is that value is initialized as 0 here. Okay, and we have another class non-stat examples, another class. Okay, non-stat example. So it is another class non-stat example. So under this class we have a main method. So we need to save this entire file as the name of non-stat example.java. So I saved it as non-stat example.java here. Okay, because we have two classes in same Java file. So we need to save the Java file as the name of the class having main method. Okay, so I need to save this as non-stat example.java. Okay, and under this, under the main method, we have created three objects for the test class. So one is m1, and we assigned the value m1 as m1.myval equal to 1 here, right? And other text class is m2, and the value is m2.myval is assigned as 2, and m3, and we have another values m3.myval is 5, right? So I just, after each initialization, I just go for print statement also. One is need to print m1.myval, and next one we are going to print m2.myval, and the third one we are going to print m3.myval. Okay, so what will be the output while we're running this program? So we will get output as, first it will create a new test class, and it will assign this value to the test class, because this is not private, it is not private, right? So we can easily access this value from class. If it is private, then we need to use a method, right? That is data encapsulation. So that is, we can, here we can directly assign the value to the variable of this object. Okay, a new object is created and it is referred to m1, and we assign that value as 1 here, and another object is created m2 and value as 2. Like that we created three objects and we assign the value, right? So what happens when we print, when we run this one, we will get output as 1, 2 and 5, right? Yes, I will show you. So Java C on stat example dot Java. Then we need to compare, we need to run Java space. We will get out as 1, 2, 5. Okay. And now I'm going to change one constraint here. I just, instead of dynamic, we have a int myval, right? Instead of directly int, I just change it as a static int. So now onwards, this myval is static int. Okay, so this is a static integer value. So what happens for this static integer value? So what will be the output of this? So instead of printing this here, I'm going to print after with execution. So we have printing my1 m1.myval, m2.myval, m3.val here, right? So if it is not static, let's show you once again. If it is not static, no, here it is not static, right? So once we're running, we will get out as this one, right? I will show you once again. Java C compile. Java, right? We will get out as 1 to 5 because we created 3 objects and we assign the value like this, right? Each object have different variables. Each object have object m1 have variable myval, and object m2 have another variable myval, and object m3 have a third variable myval. Okay, so each object that is we created for you from reference. That is we created 3 objects. Can create so we have created 3 objects and each object have value myvar, right? So each object is looking same like this, right? And each object have the separate value. This is m1 myval for m1, right? And this is myval for m2. So in memory we have 3 objects and we have 3 values, 3 variable for each object. Okay, so this is our object as m1, right? So this is m1 and this is m2 and this is M2. Okay. So once we will change it into the variable, the type of the variable will change it to static. So what will happen is that this variable is statically defined in memory. So this variable is becomes statically defined in memory. That means that whenever an object is created, the memory address of this variable will not change. Okay, that is once we defined this variable as static, what will happen? It is by default it is allocated statically. A memory is allocated for this myval in the memory. Okay, so all the objects created with respect to this class have only one memory location for storing for the value myval. Okay, that is what happens is that if you provided with static here, then I just run the program again. We will get value as 555. That is, initially we created an instance m1, then we will assign the value as 1 here, then we create another instance m2 when we assign value 2. So what happens is the memory location of all these myval variable is same irrespective of any number of objects, because we initialize this variable as static. So memory is fixed. So you can create n number of objects. All objects will share same memory address for this variable. Okay, so once you change the value of this variable of m2 to 2, what will happen is that it will change the value of m1 also. Okay, so here we created 3 objects, right? So when we change the value of third object, myval of third object to 5, what will happen? This is no, all the objects are share the same variable, right? So this is a memory statically allocated, right? So what happens that this value is replicated to all the when we change any changes, it will be applied all objects, right? It will be applicable to the all objects inside the memory. Okay, For example, it is like that. So this is non-static scenario. So what happens if it is static? In case of static, I will share another picture. So this is non-static, okay. So here my val is non-static. So in case of a static, so we have 3 objects, and all the objects have same memory. That is, we can say that all the objects have same memory space of my val. So they will all of share the value. Okay, so once when any of the object changes the value, it is reflected to the value of all other objects also, because the memory location is fixed here. Okay. Statically allocated. That is called as static. Okay, so I hope all of you do get an idea what's the difference between static and non-static. So by default, when you define any variable as int myvar like that, right, or everything is dynamic, right? So you need to make, if you want to make some instance, some value as static, then you need to explicitly use the static keyword here, right? So once the variable is static, what will happen that the static variable is statically allocated, the memory space of that variable is fixed. So whenever an object is created, all the objects will share the same memory space. Okay, so whenever a value of that variable changes, it will be reflected to all the objects value. Okay, is it clear, guys? So it can be done with this small example. Any questions regarding the static? So what will happen that when we create, so as I already told you now, we are not creating any object of this class or Java file having this main method, right? So once in case of this main method is static. So what happens that the memory of the main method, that is the memory space of this for running this main method, is by default statically allocated by the compiler itself. When compiling, it is statically allocated. So what is the difference? If you are in case of dynamic, means the value is dynamically allocated. That is allocated only during the runtime. Okay, static means value the memory is allocated statically, and that is done during the compile time itself. Okay, it is not go to the runtime scenario. So what happens that when we declare a method as static, and that method can be that method can be statically allocated in the memory, and we can access that method without creating any object. Okay, that's why now this main method is static here. So we are not creating any object of this non-stat example, because we are not creating any object of the class that having main in order to call that main method, right? The main method is automatically called because it is defined as static. Okay, the main method is automatically called by the runtime because that the resources required for that main method is statically allocated during the compile time itself. So while running, it will just go to the main. So what all the instructions are there in the main method, that is executed. Okay, so all the instructions are stored in the memory during the compile time itself. All the instructions inside this main already stored by the compiling time, it's in the memory. Okay, so what happens the runtime? So during the runtime, these instructions are just executed line by line. That's all. Okay, So the static, so that's a key thing of static main method. So main method is static so that we don't need to create any object in order to run this main method. So essentially, you know, what happens is in order to run any method, we need to create an object of a specific class. Then only we can able to run that specific method, right? But in case of main method, the main method is created as a static. So we don't need any object to run this main method. So the Java compiler automatically identified the main as a static method, and it automatically store all the instructions inside the main in the memory itself during compiling. So once while running, it will just execute the instruction one by one. That's happening here. So that's why the main the class inside the main method doesn't need any object to run this main method. So I hope you got the idea, right? It makes sense, right? Any questions? Questions എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ guys? മനസ്സിലായോ? മനസ്സിലായില്ലേ? എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് പറ.
Yes sir, മനസ്സിലായി.
Okay, so that is static. Okay, so we are using static keyword for doing static memory allocation. So if you want to save some variables as statically allocated in your memory, or if you want a variable to be shared among all the objects, so in that scenario or in that context, we need to make that variable as static. Okay, then all the objects is shared the same value or same address space. So so if any object changes the value, it will affect all other objects, right? So some cases we need it. Okay, some cases we have to declare it as a static variable. Okay, so same concept is applying over the main method also. If your method is static, in case of main method, the method is static, right? So we no need of any object to run create a space in memory, right? It is automatically, it is statically allocated all the instructions of the main method during the compile time itself by the Java compiler. So that's the thing why we don't need an object for a class that have a main method. Okay? So that is one of the concept I want to discuss during this session, and one more. We will discuss one more thing, that is super. So what is super means? I will show you one example and you can easily explain. Okay. So this is again an example. So we have one base class. So this example of inheritance, we have a base class. Under base class, we have a print statement, and that print statement is simply printing I am super class. Okay, and we have another class super sample. So name of class is super sample that extends base. Okay, and under this class, we have another method called print super. So inside this print super method, what we are using this super keyword dot print. So what will happen, sir? So under this method, we are calling the print function of super. Super means upper. So we are calling the print function of the parent class here. The super is used to denote the parent class functions. Okay, it just need to denote the parent class. So super.print means, so this is the print. So we are calling a print statement, a print function or print method inside print super. That is, we are calling the print method of parent class or base class inside a child class method called print super. Okay, so under the child class super sample, so super sample is a child class, right? So under this child class we have a method print super, and this method is calling parent class. That is, super means super class means parent class or base class. Okay, and we are calling the super class print method here inside this. Okay, then next we have another print method, and this is the derived class print method. Okay, so what happens that, so we are overwriting the print method of super class here with another print method. Okay, so this print method overwrites the print method of class base. Okay, but we created a new print method print super, and under this print super we are calling the print function of a print method of parent class, like this. Okay, so what happens that we created a under the main method we created a object for this super sample class, and we are calling both print super, we are calling this function, and we are calling print. So once we are calling this print, what will happen, it will print the overridden method. It will print this, I am a derived class. So once we call it the print super, what will happen, it will go, call this one, right, print super. So under print super we have again calling the print of base class. Okay, so it will print I am a super class, like that. Okay, so this super, so the idea of this program is to get the knowledge about this super keyword. So super keyword represents parent class. Okay, so in order to access some methods over the parent class, we can use super dot the method name, like this. Okay, it will access the method of your parent class. That is a key idea I just want to convey. Okay, so while running this program, I just want to show you. Just compare this program. Java C, for example, Java, then Java. You will get I am a super class and I am a derived class. Okay, so while calling this print super, it will execute this one, and while calling print, it will execute this overridden print statement. Even though we have a print method inside the base class, right? But it is overridden with this print method. Okay, so while creating object of a child class and calling the function, it will get the overridden method, right? And this print super is another method. So under print super method, we are using the super keyword to access the print of base class. So it will get out as I am a super class. So output will be I am a super class and I am a derived class. So it's clear, this program. So this program to give an idea about the super keyword. Nodes, parent class, base class, or super class. This is the name of your parent class. Okay. It is clear for any queries for this program? Okay, fine. So that's all for today's session. I just want to discuss two things. One is static and other one is so one is static and other one is super keyword. And tomorrow just go through this video today and tomorrow. That is which I shared two videos, right? So just go through that videos, and we will discuss any questions regarding that videos on Friday. Okay, tomorrow there is no session as NST is tomorrow in case of NST is holiday, right? So tomorrow there is no session, and day after tomorrow, that is Friday, we have assessment up to this. Okay, assessment including this today's class also. Okay, that is the super and stat. Okay, these two concepts also. Okay.